on to the second question. To what degree was the Cold War actually cold? So a reason why it's considered to be cold is shown in this image here. So go ahead and pause again here, turn and talk with your shoulder partner. What are you guys thinking? Then come back. So as you may notice, both sides of the Cold War, both the Soviet Union and the United States, had amazing nuclear capabilities. They had the capacity to destroy and annihilate one another. So this situation was called MAD, Mutually Assured Destruction. So if the United States or the Soviet Union directly attacked each other, then it would result in a full-scale war that could possibly destroy the world. And so as a result, the United States and the Soviet Union were very afraid of actually getting into direct conflict. However, this did not mean that there were no conflicts during the Cold War. We see a lot of them here on this map pictured. And so a lot of these wars were called proxy wars because the Soviets supported one of the sides and the United States supported the other, such as in the example of the Korean War, where the Soviets supported the North, the DPRK, and then the U.S. supported the South with armaments, with troops, and with strategies and support. We also see that that Cold War involvements were not always direct war. Sometimes they were more quiet interventions. And so this shows a picture of the streets of Iran. So Iran actually democratically elected a prime minister, not this dude, but one who wanted to nationalize the oil industry. So like take it and have the government of Iran own it and have the benefits of it for its people. And so this was a very unpopular viewpoint by the British, who were capitalists and also owned a lot of the oil reserves in Iran. And so the British then tanked the Iranian economy by imposing sanctions. So they limited the trade of the oil, so they stopped oil production. Additionally, the US and the British worked together to facilitate a coup d'etat against the democratically elected prime minister and put this guy in power, who was the Shah of Iran, and he ended up actually executing and torturing people throughout his many-year reign. And so go ahead and decide for yourself, given this information about how nuclear armaments made the Cold War cold, but also we see examples of very direct conflict that was very hot, and also interventionism. Go ahead and decide for yourself, to what degree was the Cold War cold or hot? And then come back when you're ready. Our last question is, did the Cold War end? Our textbook gives a very definitive answer. Yes, it did. Once the USSR / the Soviet Union / Russia, once they fell, and then the satellite states that we saw in the first map here, once these satellite states then gained their independence, the Cold War is considered to have ended because Russia, the Soviet Union / the USSR, was the bastion of communism, and so it was seen as the failure or the end of communism. However, it is important to note that there are still communist states today, such as Cuba, such as China, and also including Venezuela, who Hugo Chavez, right here pictured, was democratically elected to lead like a socialist revolution. He used the oil exports of Venezuela in order to fund social welfare programs for his people, and he was amazingly popular. He died of brain cancer, and then Nicolas Maduro came to power. However, his power, Nicolas Maduro's, was contested because this guy named Guaido, who was supported by the United States, said that he was actually the legitimate ruler. And Maduro then accused the United States of facilitating a coup d'etat against him in order to get better control of Venezuela's oil supplies. Does this sound familiar? It should, to very much so, to the example of what happened in Iran. And so go ahead and decide, did the Cold War end? Take some notes and then unpause the video when you're ready to move on. And so lastly, you will see we're going to take a case study of what's happening in Venezuela today and to see, is this an example of Cold War happening today, like these things that are happening literally in 2018 and 19? Or is it more of an example of humanitarian aid, an example of like the Venezuelans trying to, or the US trying to help the Venezuelans because socialism is destroying Venezuela? So go ahead and read the two articles that were posted on Google Classroom, the ones right here. You can either split them up, this one and this one. You can split it up with your shoulder partner, or you can read both and then go ahead and take the notes on this second page for either side, and then finally finish your synthesis. And I'll be collecting these tomorrow. Thanks so much.